Okay, so you've probably seen the headlines. Temu,
Yeah.
the online store, known for those crazy low prices, they're
Right.
they're in the news again.
Mm-hmm.
A hacker is claiming they stole a ton of customer data.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's enough to make anyone who's ever, bought like a cute sweater for $5 think twice about their online security.
Absolutely. And this is exactly why we need to approach this kind of thing really critically.
Okay.
Hackers love to grab attention sometimes, even with exaggerated or completely made up claims. So we got to be careful.
Right. So it's not always what it seems. We've got to look a little deeper.
Exactly.
So let's break down what we know, starting with the main source for this whole thing, Bleeping Computer.
Right.
They've been all over this, reporting on the hackers' claims from some online forum.
Yeah, they're,
what kind of data they supposedly have, even Temu's official response. It's all there.
It's fascinating how this all plays out.
Mm-hmm.
The hackers saying they've got usernames, addresses, even hashed passwords.
Yeah, I saw that. 87 million records.
87 million.
That's a lot of people's data potentially compromised.
Yeah, that's a huge number. And honestly, it's a little unnerving to think about.
For sure. But it gets even more interesting because Temu has come out with a strong denial.
Right.
They're saying this data doesn't match their records. Basically calling this whole thing fake.
A hoax.
Mm-hmm.
It's like classic back and forth you see in these situations.
Right.
You've got...
like a digital crime drama.
Exactly. It's like a digital crime drama unfolding right in front of us.
Okay, so we've got this hacker saying they've got all this data, and then Temu's coming back like, nope, not ours. So, how do we even begin to figure out what's what here? What should people listening at home be thinking about when they see these headlines?
Right. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to be honest, in these early stages, it's almost impossible to say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean we can't at least try to approach this whole thing critically.
Totally. So, where do we even begin with that? What are the red flags or even the green flags we should be looking for here?
Well, one thing that makes this whole thing a bit more complicated is that the hacker actually released some sample data.
Oh, really? They did?
Yeah, which is a pretty common tactic for hackers to try and add some weight to their claims.
Right. Make it more believable.
Exactly. But the thing is, they haven't actually proven that they still have access to Temu's systems like they said they did.
Huh. So that's a pretty big hole in their story then. They're saying we've got the keys to the kingdom, but haven't actually shown us the keys.
Pretty much, yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't have them.
Right.
But it's definitely something to keep in mind as we're trying to figure out how legit all of this is.
Okay, so let's just say for a second that this hacker is exaggerating or maybe even just totally making stuff up. Is there anything important to take away from all of this at all? Or is it just a big nothing burger?
Well, even if this particular hacker is spinning yarns here, this situation really highlights something crucial that I think we all tend to forget. And it's this. Every online platform, no matter how big or small, no matter how much security they have in place, is a potential target.
So you're saying even if Temu's doing everything right on their end, there's still a chance something like this could happen?
Absolutely. It only takes one weak link, right?
Yeah.
Temu might have all the latest and greatest security systems, but all it takes is one vulnerability, one little crack in the armor, and boom, hackers can potentially get in.
Okay, so that brings up a super important question then. What are those weak links that hackers are looking for? And more importantly, what can we do to protect ourselves? So it sounds like we're talking about more than just hoping for the best here. Are we talking about becoming, digital security experts ourselves? What can we actually do to strengthen those weak links?
Well, you don't need to go full cybersecurity pro or anything, but there are some pretty simple yet powerful things that everyone can do.
Okay.
And honestly, it all starts with passwords.
Passwords. Okay. I mean, we hear about it all the time, but it's 2024. Are passwords really still that big of a deal?
You'd be surprised. So many people still use weak or easily guessable passwords. Or even worse, they use the same one for 1 million different accounts.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a bad idea.
Right. It's like using the same key for your house, your car, and your office. One compromise and everything's vulnerable.
Yeah, that's definitely a risk I'm not willing to take.
Exactly. So the first line of defense here is creating a strong, unique password for every single online account you have.
Okay, so when you say strong, what does that actually mean in practical terms?
Good question. So we're talking a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, symbols, the whole 9 yards. Shoot for at least 12 characters, ideally more.
Okay, I'll admit I've definitely been guilty of using easier passwords in the past. Just because it's hard to remember a million different ones. but trying to remember like a dozen different complicated passwords for every single website and app I use, it just seems impossible.
And that's where password managers come in.
Okay.
They're like these secure little digital vaults for all your passwords.
So you only need to remember one.
Exactly. Just one master password. And the password manager takes care of the rest. It generates and stores all these super complex passwords for all your different accounts.
Wow, so that actually solves that whole issue.
Oh.
Okay, cool. So password manager, that's one.
Mhm.
Anything else we should be thinking about?
Yeah, for sure. Two-factor authentication is another one. It's a must-have. You've probably seen this before, right?
Yeah.
After you put in your password, you get a code sent to your phone or email.
Yeah.
And then you have to enter that code to actually log in.
Hmm.
It's just this extra layer of verification that makes it way harder for hackers to get in.
So it's like having that like extra lock on your door.
Exactly. It might take a tiny bit longer,
Hmm.
but that extra security is definitely worth it.
For sure. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this whole deep dive here, what's like the one big takeaway you want to leave people with?
Honestly, just take your online security seriously. Don't wait for a potential breach to happen. Be proactive about it.
Yeah.
Those steps we talked about, strong passwords, two-factor authentication password managers. These aren't just like tech buzzwords.
Yeah.
They're your digital shields. So equip yourself and browse with confidence.
I love that. Words to live by in our digital world. And there you have it, a deep dive into the alleged Temu data breach. Remember, whether this hacker is for real or not, this story is a good reminder that we always need to be thinking about our online security. Stay safe out there.